Dear students, welcome to our English class of Standard 10th. Today we will be doing the third lesson from Unit 4, World Heritage. World Heritage is a simple idea, but a revolutionary one, that the world hosts cultural and natural heritage of universal value, which humanity must protect together as its indivisible legacy. World Heritage Sites are places that are important to and belong to everyone, irrespective of where they are located. Let us learn more about heritage sites in this lesson. A World Heritage Site is a site determined by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization to have significant cultural or natural importance to humanity. As such, the sites are protected and maintained by the International World Heritage Programme, which is administered by the UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Because World Heritage Sites are places that are significant culturally and naturally. They vary in type but include forests, lakes, monuments, buildings and cities. World Heritage Sites can also be a combination of both cultural and natural areas. For example, Mount Wangshan in China is a site with significance to human culture because it played a role in historical Chinese art and literature. The mountain is also significant because of its physical landscape characteristics. World Heritage Sites are designated by UNESCO for having cultural, historical, scientific or other form of significance. The sites are judged to contain cultural and natural heritage around the world, considered to be of outstanding value to humanity. Our heritage provides clues to our past and how our society has evolved. It helps us examine our history and traditions and enables us develop an awareness about ourselves. It helps us understand and explain why we are the way we are. World Heritage Sites are cultural or natural sites of outstanding universal value which are important across countries and generations. Wangshan, Yellow Mountain, a World Heritage Site of UNESCO, is the most beautiful and loveliest mountain in China. The Yellow Mountains are not so called because the mountains are yellow, but because the area was renamed after the legendary Yellow Empire Yuan Dai in 747 AD. It is known for its four wonders: beautifully shaped pine trees, fantastic rock peaks, sea of clouds, and hot springs. History of World Heritage Sites. Although the idea of protecting cultural and natural heritage sites around the world began in the early 20th century, momentum for its actual creation was not until the 1950s. In 1954, Egypt started plans to build the Aswan High Dam to collect and control water from the Nile River. The initial plan for the dam's construction would have flooded the valley containing the Abu Simbel temples and scores of ancient Egyptian artifacts. To protect the temples and artifacts, UNESCO launched an international campaign in 1959 that called for the dismantling and movement of the temples to higher ground. The project cost an estimated 80 million US dollars, 40 million US dollars of which came from 50 different countries. Because of the project's success, UNESCO and the International Council on Monuments and Sites initiated a draft convention to create an international organization responsible for protecting cultural heritage. The giant reservoir created by Aswan High Dam, 300 miles long and 10 miles wide, was named Lake Nasser. The formation of Lake Nasser required the resettlement of 90,000 Egyptian peasants and Sudanese Nubian nomads, as well as the costly relocation of the ancient Egyptian temple complex of Abu Simbel, built in the 13th century BC. Saving the temples of Egypt and dismantling stone by stone, the Abu Simbel temple in the early 1960s was a first act to recognize this idea. In 1959, after an appeal from the governments of Egypt and Sudan, UNESCO launched an international safeguarding campaign to save monuments in Nubia from being flooded by the waters of Lake Nasser. Archaeological research in the areas to be flooded was accelerated. Above all, the Abu Simbel and Philae temples were dismantled and moved to dry ground and reassembled. The campaign cost about 80 million US dollars, half of which was donated by some 50 countries, showing the importance of solidarity and nations' shared responsibility in conserving outstanding cultural sites. The construction of Aswan High Dam in Egypt drew unprecedented international attention to the protection of cultural heritage. At that time, many people thought they had to choose between culture and development, between flourishing crops and the traces of a glorious history. UNESCO has shown that we can have both. Shortly thereafter, in 1965, a White House conference in the United States called for a World Heritage Trust to protect historic cultural sites, but also to protect the world's significant natural and scenic sites. Finally, in 1968, the International Union for Conservation of Nature developed similar goals and presented them at the United Nations Conference on Human Environment in Stockholm, Sweden in 1972. Following the presentation of these goals, the Convention concerning the protection of world cultural and natural heritage was adopted by UNESCO's General Conference on November 16, 1972. The Convention defines the kind of natural or cultural sites which can be considered for inscription on the World Heritage List. It explains how the World Heritage Fund is to be used and managed, and under what conditions international financial assistance may be provided. The event that aroused particular international concern was the decision to build the Aswan High Dam in Egypt, which would have flooded the valley containing the Abu Simbel temples, a treasure of ancient Egyptian civilization. The most significant feature of the 1972 World Heritage Convention is that it links together in a single document the concepts of nature conservation and the preservation of cultural properties. The Convention recognizes the way in which people interact with nature and the fundamental need to preserve the balance between the two. Today, the Convention has reached almost universal membership with more than 1,000 sites inscribed. Joining all these dots paints a new map of the world, a map for peace and dialogue. The World Heritage Committee. Today, the World Heritage Committee is the main group responsible for establishing which sites will be listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The committee meets once a month, once a year, and consists of representatives from 21 state parties that are elected for 6-year terms by the World Heritage Center's General Assembly. The state parties are then responsible for identifying and nominating new sites within their territory to be considered for inclusion on the World Heritage List. Becoming a World Heritage Site. There are 5 steps in becoming a World Heritage Site. The first of which is for a country or state party to take an inventory of its significant cultural and natural sites. This is called the tentative list, and it is important because nominations of the World Heritage List will not be considered unless the nominated site was first included on the tentative list. Next, countries are then able to select sites from their tentative list to be included on a nomination file. The third step is a review of the nomination file by 2 advisory bodies consisting of the International Council on Monuments and Sites and the World Conservation Union, who then makes recommendations to the World Heritage Committee. The World Heritage Committee meets once a year to review these recommendations and decide which sites will be added to the World Heritage List. The final step in becoming a World Heritage Site is determining whether or not a nominated site meets at least one of 10 selection criteria. If the site meets these criteria, it can then be inscribed on the World Heritage List. Once a site goes through this process and is chosen, it remains the property of the country on whose territory it sits. But it also becomes considered within the international community. The term heritage is not always an easy word for people to define. However, a word that is often used to describe one's heritage is legacy. It is what we have done in the past and what we will pass on to the future. The World Heritage Committee's most important job, however, is determining which sites gets added to the World Heritage List. The complicated and often long process begins with each of the 190 states making a tentative list, essentially taking stock of any sites within its territory that demonstrate natural and cultural importance. This is a list that each state party will pull from when nominating a site for inscription. If a state finds that a site within their boundaries qualifies as having outstanding universal value and demonstrates one of the 10 criteria, it may choose to present a nomination file for that site. This file is extensive, including items such as maps, thematic studies, property history, and other necessary documentation needed to prove the outstanding universal value of the site. State parties are encouraged to seek contributions from local inhabitants, governments, non-governmental organizations, and other people who may be interested or have information regarding the site. Once the file is submitted, the advisory bodies must approve it before sending to the World Heritage Committee. This committee meets once per year and determines which sites meet the outstanding universal value criteria necessary for inscription. It has the power to reject or defer a decision and also can remove sites from the list if they no longer meet the mandatory criteria. Types of World Heritage Sites. As of 2009, there are 890 World Heritage Sites that are located in 148 countries. 689 of these sites are cultural and include places like the Sydney Opera House in Australia and the Historic Centre of Vienna in Austria. 176 are natural and feature such locations as the US's Yellowstone and Grand Canyons National Parks. 25 of the World Heritage Sites are considered mixed, that is, natural and cultural. Peru's Machu Picchu is one of these. Italy has the highest number of World Heritage Sites with 44. India has 36 World Heritage Sites. The World Heritage Committee has divided the world's countries into 5 geographic zones which include Africa, Arab states, Asia Pacific, including Australia and Oceania, Europe and North America, and Latin America and the Caribbean. World Heritage Sites in danger. Like many natural and historic cultural sites around the world, many World Heritage Sites are in danger of being destroyed or lost due to war, poaching, natural disasters like earthquakes, uncontrolled urbanization, heavy tourist traffic, and environmental factors like air pollution and acid rain. World Heritage Sites that are in danger are inscribed on a separate list of World Heritage Sites in danger, which allows the World Heritage Committee to allocate resources from the World Heritage Fund to that site. In addition, different plans are put into place to protect and or restore the site. If, however, a site loses the characteristics which allowed for it to be originally included on the World Heritage list, the World Heritage Committee can choose to delete the site from the list. To learn more about the World Heritage Sites, visit the World Heritage Center's website at whc.unesco.org. The Church of the Nativity, traditionally thought to be the birthplace of Jesus, is one of several sites to have been designated as a World Heritage Site and World Heritage in danger in the same year. In 2019, it was removed from the list. Old towns of Jain, Mali. Nearly 2,000 traditional earthen buildings remain standing in Jain, one of the oldest towns in sub-Saharan Africa, inhabited since 250 BC. In addition to its Islamic architecture, 4 archaeological sites reveal clues about pre-Islamic urban structure and its subsequent evolution. Political insecurity, deterioration of historic construction materials, urbanization, and erosion earned it a place on the World Heritage in Danger list in 2016. Everglades National Park, United States. Described as a river of grass flowing imperceptibly from the hinterland into the sea. Florida's sweeping subtropical wetlands are a sanctuary for birds, reptiles, and more than 20 rare, endangered, and threatened species. A combination of urban growth, pollution, and natural disaster earned it a spot on the danger list in 1993, and it was later removed in 2007 after restoration efforts. It landed on the list once again in 2010 after continued degradation from pollution and significant losses of marine habitat and species. Historic Center of Vienna, Austria. Perched on the Danube River, the Baroque castles and gardens of Vienna reveal its long, rich history as capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The city has also been recognized as the musical capital of Europe since the 16th century, housing the likes of Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert. In 2017, the city was inscribed World Heritage in Danger due to high-rise constructions in the Austrian capital. Virunga National Park, Democratic Republic of Congo. One of the most striking volcanic landscapes in Africa, Virunga National Park is a refuge for numerous birds, reptiles, hippos, and its most iconic, the rare and globally threatened mountain gorilla. Virunga National Park was added to the danger list in 1994. Both the guards and wildlife have been subjected to ongoing violence in the decades since, including the slaughter of hippos and gorillas. The point is, some of the world's most remarkable places are at a risk of being wiped off the map unless UNESCO and its partners save them. While the fundamental purpose of the World Heritage Program is to preserve these immeasurably valuable sites for centuries to come, some locations are under constant threat. Armed conflict, natural disasters, poaching, pollution, poorly managed tourism, and rampant urbanization have all jeopardized the longevity of many designated cultural and natural sites. To elevate the precarious situation of these properties, UNESCO also maintains a list of World Heritage in danger. The goal of the danger list is to focus attention on the sites at greatest risk of being lost forever and to hopefully induce the international community to take a protective action. If a site were to lose those attributes that give it outstanding universal value, it could be stricken from the World Heritage List altogether. The danger list serves as a sort of last chance mechanism to prevent such a tragic outcome. To date, increased preservation efforts have resulted in 41 properties being removed from and remaining off of the list of the World Heritage in danger. Dear students, that's all for this class. Thank you.